Welcome to Spectrum TV News at 12, a recap of major news stories within the week. I am Francis Oyima Edet, coming to you live from the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu unveils Southeast Peace Initiative, pledges commitment. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Umoyano tasked Akwa Ibom Northeast Senatorial District youths to exhibit enterprise and hard work as precondition for government support. Plus, Israel launches deadly Gaza strike as Mid-East tension rise. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for joining us. First news this afternoon. First on our recap news is a report that President Bola Tinubu has assured Nigerians of his determination to utilize all available resources to ensure lasting peace and security in the southeast geopolitical zone of the country. President Tinubu gave the assurance in Bende, the headquarters of Bende local government area of Abia State, while unveiling the logo of the Peace in the Southeast project, a strategic platform for the restoration of peace in the Southeast region, envisioned by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu. The unveiling was part of activities to mark the civic reception, Thanksgiving, and homecoming by the Deputy Speaker, addressing Nigerians from all walks of life who graced the occasion. President Tinubu, represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, commended the convener of the Peace Project, Kalu, and expressed his understanding that no one comprehends the experience of the community better than the people themselves. The President therefore expressed his determination to involve all and sundry in bringing peace to the Southeast. In a separate development, the former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo has said that there was no option for the next generations of Africans other than to help in the repayment of the debt burden incurred by current leaders. Obasanjo said this at an engagement program with the 2023 awardees of Future African Leaders Foundation. The former president noted that with the level of mismanagement of the previous debts written off, it would be almost impossible for any administration to get a similar gesture in the continent. Recall that Obasanjo, as the country's president in 2003, secured a debt relief for Nigeria. Likewise, his counterpart from Algeria at the same period. Away from that, the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing has begun the process of reviewing sales of houses under the National Housing Program, calling on interested Nigerians both home and abroad to apply. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works and Housing, Mahmuda Maman. According to the statement, the review process is part of the program for the new sales of houses, and interested applicants are to obtain expression of interest forms. It further stated that interested applicants who were given a provisional offer of allocation between 2022 and 2023 are free to reapply. In another development, a former Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talon, has approached the Court of Appeal in Abuja, seeking to set aside the judgment of an FCT High Court which barred her from holding public office. Justice Peter Kekemenke of the FCT High Court had on December 18th barred Talon in a case filed against her by the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) over her alleged disparaging comment against an earlier court judgment. The judge had, however, given Talon an option of publishing a personally signed apology letter to the NBA, the judiciary, and Nigerians in one full page each of the national dailies, The Guardian and The Punch, within 30 days from the date of its judgment, failing which the order becomes perpetual. Meanwhile, Talon prayed the Court of Appeal to set aside the said judgment, arguing that the ruling was tantamount to a miscarriage of justice. Away from that, the Minister of Interior, Lubumi Tunjojo, has launched a training session on automated passport application for the passport control officers and enrollment officers of the Nigerian Immigration Service. Tunjojo disclosed this in a statement through his official X handle. The minister stressed that the commencement of automated passport application is possible starting from January 8, 2024. Reports say the development, if implemented, will end the delay in passport issuance. In the meantime, a former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Omar Farouk, has apologized for declining the invitation of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Farouk wrote to the EFCC to apologize for failing to appear before the Commission to answer questions on the alleged laundering of 37.1 billion naira during her tenure. A spokesman of the Commission, Dele Oyewale, told newsmen that the former minister wrote to the anti-graft explaining that she is not disposed to appear before the Commission now. He added that the EFCC has directed her to honor the invitation without further delay. Meanwhile, the suspended national coordinator of the National Social Investment Program Agency, NSIPA, Halima Shehu, has reported to the Commission. Elsewhere, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lopobiri, has assured the Bayelsa State government of the possibility that the revoked license for OML 46, also known as Atala oil field, belonging to the state, will be returned to the state. Lopobiri, chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, gave the assurance during a visit to Governor Doyadiri at the government house, Yenagua. The minister expressed regrets that the Atala oil field was taken away, saying he would do everything within his power to bring back the asset. He explained that his visit was to seek collaboration with the state government to address issues concerning Bayelsa and for the state to reap the dividends of democracy. In a separate development, the Nigerian Air Force NAF recruitment has announced the postponement of its zonal aptitude test for trades and non-tradesmen and women. This is confirmed in a statement issued by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Edward Gabwet. He said the test, earlier scheduled for January 6, 2024, will now be held on January 13, 2024. Meanwhile, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, has approved the implementation of a group personal accident insurance policy for all Nigerian Air Force personnel. The Director of Public Relations and Information for the Nigerian Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gabwet, explained that the policy covers only the families of personnel killed in action and does not address medical expenses resulting from accidents. Gabwet noted that the new policy aligns with the Air Chief's command philosophy, aiming to sustain a highly motivated force through improved welfare and infrastructure renewal. He stated that the insurance company would provide compensation for bodily injuries, death, disabilities, and payment of medical expenses. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kaide Gbetekun, says the force has initiated measures to review and potentially improve the pension administration for retired police personnel. In a statement by ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, the Inspector General of Police reassured all officers, both serving and retired, that the current administration prioritizes the enhancement of police officers' welfare, particularly concerning retirement benefits. He said the IGP remains resolute in ensuring a pension scheme that secures the financial well-being of officers. Recall that in 2023, the IGP had invited retired and serving police officers as well as pensioners to a meeting at the force headquarters Abuja to discuss pending issues pertaining to police pensions. In politics, there appears to be an end to the political crisis rocking Rivers State as the member representing Ahoda East constituency 2 at the Rivers State House of Assembly, Edison Ehie, has withdrawn his contempt proceeding suit against 25 of the 27 defected lawmakers. Recall that last December, Ehie, a close ally of the state governor, Siminalayi Fubar, declared the seats of 27 lawmakers vacant over their defection from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the All Progressives Congress (APC). Ehie led the group of 4 lawmakers loyal to the governor. Fubar, on the other hand, has been engaged in a fierce political battle with his predecessor, Nyesom Wike, and the FCT minister. Earlier, he filed contempt proceedings at the Rivers State High Court in Port Harcourt against 25 of them, in which he challenged their sittings and legislative activities. In an interesting turn of events, however, Ehie resigned his position in the House of Assembly following the peace deal reached between Governor Fubar and Wike. Away from that, Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji has sworn in the 38 newly elected local government chairmen in the state. The governor urged them to place high premium on radical improvement on the security of lives and property, as well as revenue generation in their respective council areas. Oyebanji also gave a marching order to the council chairmen to build on the strong foundation laid by their predecessors, adding that his administration would not tolerate any form of security lapses at the third tier of government under their watch. Meanwhile, the new council chairmen were elected during the December 2, 2023 local government election in the state. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Umoina has tasked youths in Akwa Ibom Northeast Senatorial District to exhibit enterprise and hard work as precondition for government support, as he reaffirmed his administration's commitment to support productive ventures. These followed a vote of confidence on the governor by stakeholders in a senatorial district under the urges of the Akwa Ibom Northeast Consultative Forum, AKNECF, during their New Year get-together held at the forum's temporary secretariat in a wet housing estate. Speaking at the event, the state governor expressed gratitude to the political stakeholders under the urges of Akwa Ibom Northeast Consultative Forum for purchasing his nomination form of the March 18 gubernatorial election and working hard to ensure his victory at the polls, as he reaffirmed his resolve to work towards delivering on the mandate they trusted him with to continuously make them proud. In his admonition, the governor urged the youths of the area to draw lessons from the tenets of his administration's blueprint and the new year, themed Arise and Shine, and therefore rise to take up some productive ventures, no matter how little, rather than staying idle, clarifying that his administration will only have justification to support hard work and entrepreneurship to enhance productivity and not idleness. Drawing inference from himself and the volunteer teachers at Edward Community Primary School, the governor posited that favor will always meet people at the place of work or opportunity, an affirmation of God's promise to bless the works of their hands, stressing that it was inglorious to stay idle and expect to be funded with the process of other people's hard work, hence unacceptable to him. Governor Eno expressed his administration for the integrity and resolute commitment of the forum to the cause, they believed in, and their demonstration of capacity in mobilizing the grassroots towards the success of the cause, and announced the donation of a plot of land for the AKNECF Permanent Secretariat. Still to come in the news, India 2023-2024 GDP growth at 7.3%. To stay with us.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
For brilliant broadcast and entertainment, sports on the go, and news around the world, watch Spectrum TV on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and free-to-air frequency 12733. Visit our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for staying with us, and now to the rest of our news stories. We move now to Africa, where one of the presidential candidates in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Theodore Ngo, has filed a petition to challenge the re-election of incumbent President Felix Tshisekedi. Ngo, who came last with a 0.02% of the vote, is the only candidate to submit a petition for the annulment of the presidential result. He filed the petition at the Constitutional Court hours before the lapse of the two-day window allowed for the petition. The court has 7 days to examine the petition and give its decision. Meanwhile, the two main opposition candidates, Mose Katumbi, who came second with 18%, and third place Martin Fayulu, said they would not challenge the result in court but are calling for protests to denounce them. In the meantime, Democratic Republic of Congo's main opposition candidates say they will not challenge the re-election of incumbent President Felix Tshisekedi. Recall that the Electoral Commission on December 31st declared Tshisekedi winner of the poll with a 73% of the vote, and businessman Mose Katumbi coming second with 18%. Reports say Katumbi, third place Martin Fayulu, and Nobel laureate Denis Mukwege are among the candidates whose teams say they will not contest the result at the Constitutional Court. According to reports, the deadline to file a presidential petition in court had elapsed on Thursday. Still in Africa, the U.S. has dismissed South Africa's case against Israel at the International Court of Justice (ICJ) over the war in Gaza. South Africa argues that Israel is committing genocidal act in Gaza in the case filed at the ICJ last week. White House National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby also said that the U.S. considers the case meritless, counterproductive, and completely without any basis in fact whatsoever. Israel rejected South Africa's genocide allegation, terming it baseless and blood libel. South Africa is backing Palestinians in the ongoing conflict, while the U.S. has supported Israel with military assistance and weapons. Meanwhile, South African business mogul Johan Rupert has retained Africa's richest man for the year 2024 after displacing Nigerian billionaire Aliko Dangote. This was revealed by Forbes' Real-Time Billionaires, a ranking platform that tracks day-to-day alterations to the net worth of the most high net worth individuals in the world. Forbes disclosed that Dangote, the founder of the Dangote Group conglomerate, moved down to second place after his wealth fell from $13.5 billion in 2023 to $9.7 billion as of Thursday, January 4, 2024, indicating a $3.8 billion loss. In the same vein, Rupert's net worth decreased from $10.7 billion in 2023 to $10 billion in the same period in 2024. Johan Rupert is the chairman of the Swiss luxury goods firm Campani Financier Richmond. The company is best known for the brands Cartier and Montblanc. Meanwhile, South Africa former President Thabo Mbeki is alive and well. His foundation says the foundation was reacting to reports circulating on social media on Wednesday regarding the former president's health, with some claiming he had died. This is not the first time Mbeki has been targeted in a fake news report. In 2021, during the COVID pandemic, social media report falsely claimed that a former leader had died. Mbeki succeeded the country's first black president, Nelson Mandela. He served as South Africa's second democratically elected president from 1999 until 2008. In the meantime, responding to criticism of its recent port deal with the self-declared Republic of Somaliland, the Ethiopian government has cited a historical and legal mistake brought about by its brutal 30-year war with Eritrea. According to the Ethiopia's government communication service posted on X, formerly Twitter, a civil war that lasted 3 decades, fomented by internal crises and foreign conspiracies, occurred. A statement was issued in reaction to criticism of a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) signed between Ethiopia and Somaliland on Monday, granting Addis Ababa access to the latter's port. In return, Somaliland has said Ethiopia will recognize it as an independent state, although this has not been confirmed by Ethiopia. Meanwhile, the agreement has caused a diplomatic storm, with Somaliland denouncing it as a violation of its sovereignty and vowing to challenge it by any legal means. To a related development, the African Union and US have called for the respect of Somalia's sovereignty and territorial integrity in response to a controversial deal that landlocked Ethiopia struck with Somaliland for sea access. The deal has caused diplomatic tension, with Somalia condemning it as an act of aggression and violation of its sovereignty and vowing to challenge it by any legal means. Somaliland seceded from Somalia in 1991 but is not internationally recognized as an independent state. U.S. Department of State spokesperson Matthew Miller has said that the United States recognizes the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Federal Republic of Somalia within its borders. Moving now to Kenya, where President William Ruto has come under a barrage of criticism following his threat to disobey court orders from corrupt judges. Ruto on Tuesday said some unnamed judges had teamed up with opposition politicians and cartels to block his government's project. But in a swift response, Chief Justice Martha Koome said defying court orders was a breach of public trust placed in state and public officers. She also urged judges to continue performing their judicial duties without fear or favor. Meanwhile, opposition leader Raila Odinga said Ruto's threats against the judiciary amounted to intimidation and disregard for the rule of law. Meanwhile, health authorities in Rwanda have recalled batches of antifungal tablets made in Kenya over safety concerns. In a statement, the Rwanda Food and Drug Authority (RFDA) instructed importers to return all batches of 200 mg fluconazole tablets manufactured by Universal Corporation, a Kenyan company. It also ordered all retailers and health facilities to stop the distribution of the drugs and return them to the suppliers. This followed an earlier notification from the authority which alerted the Kenyan manufacturers of discoloration in the tablets. According to RFDA, 4 bulk batches of pink fluconazole 200 mg tablets imported into the country had a white discoloration after a short shelf life. The agency said that some of the discolored tablet batches had entered into the Rwandan market. Meanwhile, health officials in Rwanda said they will investigate to ascertain if the drugs have had any adverse effect on consumers. On a foreign scene, Israeli bombing killed dozens of people overnight in Gaza, the health ministry of the Hamas-run Palestinian territory said. Within the course of the week, as regional tension have surged over the most 3-month-old war. According to a U.S. official on condition of anonymity, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was due to head to the Middle East, the top diplomats for a trip to the region since the Hamas attack of October 7 triggered the bloodiest ever Gaza war. The Israel military, in its campaign to destroy the Islamist militant group, have reported more strikes in and around Gaza City, now a largely devastated urban combat zone, and Khan Yunis, the biggest urban center in the besieged territory, south. The Gaza Health Ministry reported dozens of martyrs and more than 100 wounded in the continued barbaric aerial and artillery bombardment of citizens' homes in the Gaza Strip. Still on the foreign scene, Hezbollah says 4 of its fighters have been killed in Lebanon in cross-border fire with Israel. The Israeli military says it attacked terrorist infrastructure and reported attacks from Lebanon into Israel. Fears of a regional war grew after the killing of Hamas deputy leader Salah al-Arori in Lebanon. In Gaza, the Palestinian Red Crescent says its building in Khan Yunis has been hit by Israeli strikes again. Meanwhile, the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says more than 22,000 people have been killed in the territory since Israel started its retaliatory campaign. Meanwhile, former U.S. President Donald Trump has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to reverse a Colorado ruling that barred him from running for president in that state. His appeal comes a day after he challenged a similar decision by Maine. According to reports, dozens of lawsuits have been filed in multiple states seeking the disqualification of Trump from the November 2024 ballot. In Maine and Colorado, Trump was removed from the ballot after legal challenges that accuse him of inciting the U.S. Capitol riot of January 6, 2021. In the meantime, an imam who was shot Wednesday outside a mosque in New Jersey has died, the U.S. State Attorney General said, adding that the killing did not initially appear to be driven by bias or domestic terrorism. According to New Jersey Attorney General Matt Platkin, Hassan Sharif was shot multiple times near a mosque in Newark, just west of New York, before being taken to hospital where he later died. He added that the state is home to 300,000 Muslim Americans. Since the outbreak of the Israel-Hamas war, there has been an increase in Islamophobic and anti-Semitic attacks across the United States. The Essex County prosecutor, Ted Stevens, confirmed Sharif was shot more than once and that it does not appear the imam was the victim of a bias crime or that this is related to terrorism. Elsewhere, a Sequel National University Hospital doctor said today, within the course of the week, that South Korean opposition party leader Lee Jae-myung, who was stabbed in the neck, is recovering well, but still needs close monitoring to avoid complications. Recall that Lee was surrounded by journalists in the southern port city of Busan on Thursday when his assailant, pretending to be a supporter, pushed through the crowd and lunged at him, stabbing him on the left side of his neck with a knife. Reports say a court in Busan issued an arrest warrant for the 66-year-old suspect, identified by his surname Kim, who was detained at the scene. After the attack, Lee, who suffered a wound to his jugular vein, was first taken to a hospital in Busan, then flown to the capital Seoul, where he underwent a nearly 2-hour surgery. Still on the foreign scene, a December 29 missile strike killed 32 people in Kyiv, authorities said Thursday, raising the toll of the deadliest attack on the Ukrainian capital since the war began. Russia has in recent days intensified aerial attacks against Ukraine, which says it has enough munition to withstand a few powerful assaults but would soon need more aid. According to Ukrainian authorities, 30 people were wounded, adding that all the 32 killed were in the warehouse, but Russia says it only targets military infrastructure. Recall that Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko had said on Saturday that the December 29 strike was the largest in terms of civilian casualties. On a business news, private businesses in the U.S. hired 164,000 workers in December, higher than a downwardly revised 101,000 in November and beating forecasts of 115,000. Leisure and hospitality led the way, while job losses were seen in manufacturing. Meanwhile, pay growth has continued to slow. Away from that, raw sugar futures were near 21 cents per pound, edging higher from the 11-month low of 2024, touched on December 21st as a slight dip in rainfall in key growing regions of Brazil is the momentum of soaring supply from the world's top producer and exporter. Additionally, dry weather in India due to El Nino hampered yields and drove their government to limit foreign sales from the key exporter, compounding the decline in supply. Prices were also pushed higher as risks to trade through the Suez Canal lifted energy prices and consequently demand for biofuel alternative. The higher profitability for sugar ethanol drives producers to use canes for biofuel blending instead of sugar crushing, limiting the supply of the sweetener. Still, robust production from earlier in the final quarter of 2023 and lower congestion in Brazilian ports kept prices close to recent lows. Meanwhile, amid rumors of an impending scarcity and increase in the cost of premium motor spirit PMS, which has triggered panic buying amongst Nigerians, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria (IPMAN) has warned Nigerians against panic buying and strongly of petrol at home. The public relations officer of IPMAN, Okanlawon Olarinwaju, clarified that fuel marketers have no intentions to raise fuel prices. Earlier, NNPCL's Chief Corporate Communications Officer Olufemi Sonoye, in a statement on Wednesday, had assured Nigerians that disregard rumors of a possible hike in petrol prices. The oil firm further urged motorists not to be involved in panic buying, as it stressed that the company had no plan to raise the cost of the product. In another development, the Indian economy expanded 7.3% in the 2023-2024 fiscal year, ending in March, higher than 7.2% in the previous year, according to preliminary government estimates, with state spending on infrastructure projects and offering a boost. The figure is higher than 7% growth forecasted by the Reserve Bank of India in December. Government spending surged 4.1%, much higher than a 0.1% rise in the previous fiscal year, while a slowdown was seen in consumer spending, gross fixed capital formation, exports and import formations. On the production front, faster increases were seen in manufacturing, construction, finance and real estate services and mining, while lower growth rates were recorded for agriculture, utilities, trade, hotels, transport and communication. Still to come in the news, Emma Raducanu beats Elena Vitolina. Do stay with us.
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
For brilliant broadcasts and entertainment, sports on the go, and news around the world, watch Spectrum TV on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and free-to-air frequency 12733. Visit our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for staying with us, and now to the concluding part of the news stories. In-held Gombe State Government has inaugurated a state tax group on sanitation to curb urban defecation in the state. Inaugurating the 29-member tax group, the State Governor Muhammadu Yahaya decried the high level of open defecation practice in the country, noting that statistics had shown over 46 million Nigerians still engaged in the avoidable act. Represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Ibrahim Njodi, Yahaya said the inauguration was in view of global concern about the negative practice that the former President Muhammadu Buhari signed Executive Order 009 to end open defecation practice in the country by 2025. The governor noted that as part of his commitment to ending the practice in the state, his administration has declared a state of emergency in the water, sanitation and hygiene sector through the Gombe State Executive Order 006, maintaining that through Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Agency, the state government proposed the upgrade of local government's water sanitation units to full-fledged departments, in addition to training of members of local tax group in each local government area to support the state tax group on sanitation for the smooth and effective implementation of the program across the state. We move to sports now, where Borussia Dortmund are interested in signing Ian Maatsen from Chelsea this month. sources have told newsmen. The 21-year-old has started just 1 year Premier League game this season, and sources have said Chelsea are open to allowing him to leave in the January transfer window if a suitable offer arises. The Premier League side are willing to let Maatsen leave on a permanent basis, but reports in Germany suggest Dortmund prefer an initial loan move. Reports say Dortmund is also pushing ahead with plans to re-sign Jadon Sancho on a loan deal from Manchester United. Recall that Maatsen spent last season on loan at Burnley, and Chelsea agreed a deal to send him back to their newly promoted Premier League side, only for the Dutchman to reject the move. He has made 15 appearances in total, with 12 of them coming as a substitute. Away from that, Emma Raducanu, who is out of the Auckland Classics after falling to a 6-7, 7-6, 6-1 defeat by second seed Elina Svitolina. The Brighton, playing her second match since wrist and ankle surgeries, raced into a 5-1 lead in the first set before taking it in the break. The Brighton player, playing her second match since recent ankle struggles, reached into a 5-1 lead in the first set before taking it in the tie-break. Reports say up next for Raducanu is the Australian Open, which begins on January 14. Finally, in sports, Manchester United has triggered 1-year options to extend their contract of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof and Hannibal until June 2025. Reports say without the extensions, all three players would have been free to talk to other clubs with their initial deals expiring this summer. United boss Eric Ten Hag said the club was also in talks with Raphael Varane and Anthony Martial over their deals. Both Frenchmen will be out of contract at the end of the season. On our entertainment news, Nollywood actor Yul Edochie has penned a heartfelt note on what would have been his late son Kambil Chukwu's 17th birthday. Expressing his grief on his Instagram account, Yul expressed the pain of losing a son and recounts a dream where Kambi appeared taller, handsome and joyful. Yul also acknowledged the difficulty of life without his son, but emphasizes his strength for the sake of his siblings, relying on God's will. Meanwhile, Nollywood actress Moyo Lawal has explained why she refused to celebrate her birthday this year for the first time since becoming an adult. The actress turned a new age a few days ago, but was silent on social media about it. She however received some wishes from her colleagues, including Mary Njoku and Uche Obodo. Moyo Lawal said she did what she would have done if she was not in the entertainment world by being silent this year. Meanwhile, the National Hospital Abuja NHA has denied referring the veteran Nollywood actor Zach Oji to a private hospital. This was contained in a statement signed by the NHA spokesman Tayo Hamstrop on behalf of the Chief Medical Director. Recall that the veteran Nollywood actor fell ill and was admitted to the hospital. The hospital spokesman said the actor, who was brought in on a New Year's Eve and admitted to the intensive care unit, was stabilized and moved to the ENT ward. Hamstrop added that he was later transferred to the orthopedic ward, where surgeons began preparing him for surgery. And to wrap up entertainment news, Nigerian singer Harrison Terry-Okere, also known as Harry Song, has been named the executive assistant on entertainment to Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborowori. Harrison, who shared the appointment news on his Instagram, expressed gratitude to the governor pledging to use their position effectively. According to the latter, Harrison officially assumed the role on December 22, 2023, and announced upcoming events including the Kingmaker on March 30th and the Sherryfield and Okudo International Festival 2024. Expressing his gratitude to Governor Sharif Oborevwori, Harrison appreciated him for entrusting him with office. He assured the governor and indigents of the state that he would make good use of his office. And that's all we have for you this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You've been watching Spectrum TV News, a recap of major stories within the week. I am Francis Oyima, Edit. Many thanks. Happy New Year. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend.